Planning Commission meeting will come to order at 7 p.m. If the secretary please call roll.
Dennis Sabowski.
Here.
Kendra Barberina is here. Tim Boyd.
Here.
Bob Dorshevitz.
Here.
Gail Grieger. Here. John Itzel.
Here.
Keith Postel.
Here. Thank you. And we have the approval of this evening's agenda. I have no additions or amendments. So,
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda as submitted.
is there support?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barberina and supported by Commissioner Boyd to approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And do we have the approval of our March 16th meeting? Any additions or corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barberina and supported by Commissioner Dorshevitz to approve the March 16th minutes as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And this is the time we take public comments for any non-agenda item. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak to a non-agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to new business, application 2428, the Suburban Cadillac park sign. And Ms. Holly, your report.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. As you recall, the applicant was before the Planning Commission last summer of 2001 with 2 monument signs proposed at that time. At that meeting, they were denied by the Planning Commission and subsequently went to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Subsequently went to the Zoning Board of Appeals for their variance request, which was also denied. So since this time, they have significantly reduced their proposed monument signs in size, and they are requesting 2 along Ann Arbor Road. On our cover page, we note 2 conditions for approval. The first is that the setback distances must be provided. Based on the proposed size and height of the signs, we feel that this can be met. They need a minimum of 10 feet, and it looks like they have approximately 15 and 19 feet. But that would need to be detailed on their building permit for the signage. The second condition, they're requesting a waiver from the commission in order to have 2 signs along their Ann Arbor Road property. We note on page 3 the exact language in the ordinance which specifies 1 ground sign shall be permitted per street frontage on any parcel. However, only 1 sign shall be permitted on lots having frontage on more than 1 street if a single sign can be located such that it is visible from both streets. So the applicant is requesting 2 signs as they have frontage on both Ann Arbor Road, but also Massey Drive and Kolb. So we're recommending approval this evening, provided those setback distances are provided and that the applicant demonstrate to your satisfaction that 2 signs are needed. Otherwise, it would be approval for 1 sign, as 1 sign alone meets the standards of the ordinance. Thank you.
So is the applicant here? What are you here for?
I'm here for the Bank of America.
Oh, the Bank of America. Well, they're not here to answer that question. What's the commission feel about it?
1 sign.
Pardon? One sign?
One sign.
I mean, we're not convinced otherwise.
Right.
And the
This,
CBA's
this
already
was,
said.
brought in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals twice last year after you turned it down. And it was turned down both times then. And the issue of 1 versus 2 signs was discussed at some length as well.
Did they offer a reason why they needed 2 signs in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals?
You know, I don't recall exactly what the discussion was.
So they want to do 1 on the corner of Massey and Ann Arbor, and the other one on the corner of, I don't know, that looks
Yes.
like.
Kolb and Massey.
I know our discussion involved
One here and one here.
consistency with other commercial enterprises along Ann Arbor Road, along the Ann Arbor Road commercial corridor. And we felt that other businesses had gotten by with one sign effectively, and we didn't see that there was a compelling case to have two of them for this particular establishment. To their credit, they did, the proposal they've come back with now no longer is asking for the height exceptions that they were. They're no longer asking for the square footage, which was substantially beyond our guidelines. So they've corrected those two items. They've also corrected having the brick base as opposed to what they were asking previously was an aluminum base. So in all those areas, they've made the move in the right direction, but still the issue of 1 versus 2 signs.
They currently have 2 pole signs today, so that is, they're requesting to replace those kind of 1 for 1.
So if we only approve one sign, will both the pole signs come down? Their building is kind of their sign as well.
They have signage on their building.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a diagram
Yeah.
that showed where all the signs are. And really, a dealership is more or less a destination place.
Right.
It's not like a drive-through restaurant and say, oh, I think I'll get X brand, I'm here.
So it's not like you don't know where it is.
Yeah, and is it fair to Heinz Park?
Yeah, but Heinz Park doesn't have two streets, it's just the one street.
Well, no, it is. There's a side street down.
On one side, but on the other side, it backs up to the new Henry Ford facility.
Right.
I'm not sure if this was brought up during the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, but I do know that the applicant had expressed to the building department the desire to remove or significantly trim the trees that are along their frontage in Ann Arbor to make one sign more visible. And they were instructed that that wouldn't be a possibility.
That it would?
No, that the
Right.
trees are part of the DDA streetscape.
Yeah, I think they did that once before, a few years back. The same thing with the Red Olive Restaurant, that stretch right in there.
Bob, can you go down to the Heinz Park and look at the sign that exists?
That's not the current sign there.
That's an old picture.
I don't believe
It
that
says
watercraft sign.
2022 on it.
I don't believe that sign is on the other entrance, the motorcraft sign. I don't believe that's there either.
Sorry, I'm not doing a good job here driving today. Where's their signs at on?
Right by their entrance there. So I suppose that is a distinction between Heinz Park and Suburban. Heinz Park has a access drive right onto Ann Arbor Road.
Which is right here.
Correct, yes, and that's where they have their signage, whereas Suburban does not have an access drive. You have to go down one of the side streets in order to access their parcel.
Yeah. Is that helpful?
The current sign there it's the same location as you see there, but it just says Lincoln. The Mercury piece is gone now.
Yeah. Mercury's been gone for a while, huh?
Well, since the ZBA, didn't approve it, they are not here to tell us why. I guess they could always come back.
Yeah, I think the reason we didn't approve it was for a number of reasons. As I said, the request was for the signs to be 20 feet high, and the guideline was 10 feet. They were way beyond the square footage. Hold on, I looked up the notes here. They were asking for 165 square feet for each sign, and the guidelines were 42 square feet. They were asking for an aluminum base, and the requirement was a brick base. So on all three of those bases, they were turned down. And then they also, the first time, asked for 2 signs. The second time, they came back and asked for only 1 sign, but they still wanted the tall and the bigger square footage. We had another case, and I can't recall, I believe it was on the ZBA, a Bank of Ann Arbor did new signage last fall. Was it here? Yeah. And you'll recall, we decided that they could only have the 1 sign, and they had to move it, which they've now done.
Because it could be viewed from both sides, right?
Right. Okay, well, any additional comments or thoughts?
Commissioners? Since the applicant is not here, and I'm not sure why they have not attended, we were under the impression that they would be. Perhaps it would be appropriate to grant approval for one of the signs, since it does meet the ordinance standards, but then table the other one in case they do want the option to come back and try to present their rationale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would go along with, I would be comfortable with that. Is there such a motion or another thought?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we approve project 2428, the Suburban Cadillac arc signage, that we approve 1 monument sign on Ann Arbor Road and table the other one should the applicant wish to come before us and discuss why a second one is needed. Subject to all the items in the McKenna report.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Barberina and supported by Commissioner Postel to approve 1 sign for application 2428 and tabling the request for the second sign at the discretion of the applicant. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is Bank of America, application 2429.
This application proposes some replacement signage to the existing wall signage on the west elevation. So this is a 1-for-1 switch. And then they're also proposing to replace the existing monument sign that is close to the corner of Ann Arbor Road and Haggerty. They are proposing to add a new wall sign to the north elevation, which is permitted as they are corner lot. And all of the wall signage and monument signs do meet the Ann Arbor Road Corridor District standards. They are also asking for 4 directional signs. And, the sign ordinance really is intended to reduce and minimize visual clutter for public safety. And based on the layout of their site, we recommend that only one of the 2 directional signs off of Ann Arbor Road, that entrance there, two directional signs are proposed. We're recommending that one be eliminated, which would be the sign that's labeled in their package as 006. So based on their compliance with the ordinance for their wall signage and monument sign, we do recommend approval of those, as well as the directional signage, provided that one be removed with the recommendation that it be the 006 sign. Thank you.
Which is this one right here.
Okay.
All proposed.
And you're here for Bank of America? Okay, if you want to step up, do you have anything to add to that? No, if you could come up to the podium because there's a mic there. Yeah, please, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. In regards to the directional signs, where we're requesting 2 on the one approach, they're both very important directional signs that help the consumer direct their way through, navigate their way through the parking lot. So, coming in and going out, there's information on those signs. So the directional signs really aren't that big square footage wise. They're rather small, and the information on them is additional for consumers. So on the 006 drawing showing the 2 directionals, which we're requesting, kind of makes sense to have them there with traffic coming in and out both ways in the approach.
So would that one be here? If you look, would it be right here? 006?
Because you have cars coming both ways that can gain access to the ATM, the drive-up teller, and the bank entrance coming both directions in that drive. So one sign would be on the right-hand side as you look going in the one direction, and then the other sign would be on the right-hand side going in the other direction. And the arrows would be indicating the proper way to go through, navigate through that parking lot to whatever you need, ATM, drive-up teller, or the entrance to the bank. So that's why those 2 directional signs are being requested.
Why would you be going in the other direction? I'm not clear.
Someone could be coming from the other roadway.
From Haggerty?
Well, the bank is on Haggerty and Ann Arbor Road. It's on
Right.
2 major roads, so traffic coming and going both ways all day long.
Is that entrance on a side street? Is that a separate,
No, it's on
that's, what road are we looking at here?
Haggerty and Ann Arbor.
Okay.
It's right here on the corner, and here are the entrances, but the one we're talking about is in the entrance here and would be positioned right here. So why would you need a sign if you're coming out? I'm not clear on that.
I'm not clear either.
Yeah, I'm confused.
That sign, the number 006 would go right here, when there's already one right here on the other side of that.
Well, as far as the positioning goes, as you're pulling in, that's Haggerty, Ann Arbor Road, as you're making a left-hand turn, the sign's positioned parallel with the street, and you're in a center lane to go left into the approach driveway, you would see the one sign. And then as far as the other sign, on the other island there, people are coming out around the backside of the bank would have information on E5 also in that area, in which the information of bank entrance, drive-through ATM on one, and then the information on the other side for cars seen at both sides, double-sided directional sign. Now, there's not much, there's no logo or anything on these directional signs. It's just informational. It's not like they're plastering, have the Bank of America logo plastered all over it. It is just lettering with information.
Are they both 2-sided signs?
Yes. Want to make the consumer aware of which direction to go and help out navigate through the area.
So that sign would say ATM and the rest, but can the ATM and the drive-up teller be accessed if they took the Haggerty Road entrance?
Yes, through the parking lot, yes.
Actually, 2 Haggerty Road entrances.
That'd be a hard maneuver to make a left, if you're going westbound on Ann Arbor Road, to make a left into that parcel. Because people are turning
It's actually,
left into CVS and then also at the intersection.
this one's actually the exit for the drive-through. So you
Is it
come out-
exit only?
Well, with the
Yes.
double yellow line, they're both exit
This
only,
one's
I think.
exit only and this one's
Oh, they're
entrance.
both exit.
One side of the directional does say exit only.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so I mean, so people don't go the wrong
Right,
way
right.
into the drive-through windows.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason, Laura, is to reduce clutter.
Yes, if you look at the site plan that they've provided, there's another directional sign that they're requesting to replace immediately to the south of that. So if you are a driver, you see both signs.
Meaning number 5 and number 6.
But it's an informational sign. Do we have authority under this law that we were talking about a couple of years ago about informational signs? How does that fit in?
Yes, the power that the municipality has is to regulate visual clutter. So the ordinance specifies a number in that one sign is permitted at each driveway entrance, which they've provided one at their Ann Arbor entrance and one at the Haggerty Road entrance.
So if you could have one between number 5 and number 6, which would you prefer?
I think for the bank, I think every directional sign is just as important to them. That's why it's on the site plan, and that's what they're requesting. I don't think I have the authority to decide which one's more beneficial to them. If I had to say, though, with the other directionals too, also give warning to pedestrians right away walking to inform people. The other directional has nothing on it, so it's not like they're trying to add clutter to these directional informational signs. So the one on
Guess I don't really see the harm.
on 004,
Do you?
which is the caution pedestrian crossing sign, there's no lettering on the backside of it. So then they're trying to keep it neat and clean as possible and still get the message out there and the information out there on these directional signs.
And Laura, how many directionals do you think, or how many exist at this moment?
That last part again, John, I'm
Oh,
sorry?
how many directional signs exist currently?
I believe there's 3. You can see you had the one shown. There is the one that's in the drive-through that the ordinance doesn't specify requirements for, but since that says caution pedestrians, we're recommending that be permitted. I think it's a question of, does the sign serve anyone who's pulling into the lot efficiently in order to read it, or are they already past it or out, not in the curb approach anymore? Especially since along Ann Arbor Road, the applicant is requesting the second wall sign on the building elevation as well.
And
So
what's on number 5 and number 6 is the same?
I think there's a difference.
They both say drive-through ATM bank entrance.
Yes, number 5 has one less direction to the bank entrance.
And the signs are 2 feet high, 24 inches high.
2 feet, 2 square feet.
Yeah.
And you're suggesting that we omit number 6, right?
Yes.
They are 1 foot by 2 foot for the sign area.
I would think from the clutter standpoint that there's certainly nothing really to be gained by limiting the number of directional signs. And if you had an accident there, you'd feel pretty badly about the decision to eliminate it. It's like, what's there's no real good purpose in it. It's not like you're plastering advertising all over the place that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
That is up to the discretion of the commission. Your ordinance does say that it's one per entrance.
I mean, I could see though omitting number 6, because when people are pulling in, they're not going to be looking at that sign there. They'll see the one number 5, and they say the same information. So I guess I don't see the point of having number 6, how it would be beneficial.
Well, it does give the consumer a few more seconds to make a decision, because E6 is a little bit closer to the roadway. So, I mean, there's more, a quick few seconds, you see that, and E5 is a little bit more to the, I'm not sure if that's to the south.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does give that 3 more seconds or 2 more seconds of heads-up driving through the parking lot with both directionals, double 5 and double 6. So it is closer as people pull in. You see that one first, yes. E5 is there too, but that's a little bit further in the property, away from the approach. So you have one at the beginning of the approach that you would see first, and if you miss that one, you have a second one indicating which direction or what you're looking for as a consumer to navigate you through the parking lot. I mean, it's not really that big of a sign. Like I said, there's no logos on it. They're not trying to plaster Bank of America all over a simple informational sign. They're doing this in well-taste, nice new signs and easy to see for people.
It is a really busy intersection, and it might be easy to be distracted and miss a turn. And being someone who's directionally challenged myself, I find extra signage helpful, as long as it's, and I don't think it adds a lot of clutter I think it might be helpful to people that rely on a signage like that to get into especially if it's their first visit, or, like I said, it's a really busy intersection with a lot of traffic.
It's one of the most accident occurrences.
Yeah.
Intersections.
Especially on a busy banking day with all the people coming and going all day long.
And a corner location like that could have as few as 1 entrance. You actually have 3 curb cuts, so that adds to the confusion factor a bit too, I think.
Any other thoughts? Sounds like we've come up with a conclusion. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Okay, I'll
See
move
what flies here?
to approve 2429 Bank of America signs as requested without any changes.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Pastel and supported by Commissioner Grieger to approve application 2429 as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I guess we should include in that motion, however, why we decided to do that, because this could set precedent. So based on some of the points you made, you feel the directional signs help guide vehicles adjacent to a very accident-prone, busy intersection.
I would say that's fair.
Yeah. Anyone else have any other thoughts as to our justification
I
for
would
that?
say the lack of advertising and things, that should be identified, because somebody could really say, well, there's signs, there are all these signs here, and yet they want to have
There were no,
advertising and logos.
so there were no logos. They were purely directional
Information.
signs, yeah.
And
And there's 3 points of access or exiting.
think that's an important point.
Yes.
Is the 3 points.
And also, if you, Bob, if you could put back up the site overview that shows the overhead view. Yeah. Really look at this, the entrance off of Ann Arbor Road goes all the way back to that other building farther down Haggerty. So what
Is that like
this
a,
is really
is that like
doing
a
is.
service drive almost behind
Yeah,
the
it's almost a
buildings?
service
It
drive.
is.
So the sign on Ann Arbor Road's directing them in, but then they have to make another turn to get to the bank. So it's, I think that's an unusual situation that again justifies both signs.
I agree.
I think it would be good to put those in the minutes and in the approval so that we have justification.
In our memory banks as to
Right,
why.
right. Any additional thoughts from you, Laura? Or no? No, from our planner? Okay. All right. That's it.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
evening, everybody.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, next is application 2432, and it's the Arby's arc sign, the menu board. So, Ms. Howe, your report?
Yes, this, the Arby's on Ann Arbor Road is requesting to replace their existing menu board sign with a 1-for-1 replacement. It will be in the same location as the current sign is. It will be under 6 feet and less than 30 square feet in area, which complies with the requirements for a monument sign. The ordinance doesn't specify specifically the size or the maximum size of a menu board. We also note that the menu board has an automatic ambient light dimmer, so this will adjust throughout the day and evening for those brightness levels. So since this is in compliance, we do recommend approval as it is presented.
Laura, there's no speaker on that particular menu board. It's purely the menu.
I thought that there was one with a speaker and
Yeah,
one with just a menu.
Yeah.
I think there is a speaker.
Just so that it complies with the
That's the
The
current
sound
right there.
the sound.
Look at that, what a world we live in. You can see the menu.
Right.
Are you getting hungry?
Now the one where it says, please, something or other.
So
Isn't
it
it,
really takes what looks to be a manual type board and turns it into a TV screen type board, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, and the ordinance doesn't specify in the menu board section noise levels, but it will have to be less than the performance standards in the ordinance for decibels.
What did you mean it doesn't have, sorry, will you finish? What did you mean it doesn't have a speaker?
No, when you place the order, they'll ask you, is that,
Yeah,
sometimes there's a sign before where you order that tells you what your choices are that does not have a speaker. So that you can have your order ready.
I see.
Then when you get up there, you don't have to be looking through everything. Not that I
And
do a
sometimes,
lot of
Panic in the
research,
drive-thru.
do a lot of research on
None of
this,
which
but.
you can understand what they're saying, so it's a.
Yeah. But I think it says in number 5 on page 2 of your report, Laura, that the applicant said that they would adjust the volume if it was necessary.
so should our, if we approve this, the motion should say that the decibels meet township ordinance?
No, they'll be required to regardless.
Oh, okay. Because, okay.
So if the neighbors complain,
Yeah, so if the neighbors complain, if there's a complaint, then code enforcement would be able to cite the performance section of Article 28 and those decibel levels.
Okay.
oh, there's one, I don't know, there's a street back there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's homes back there.
it's Rocker, I think.
Quite a ways away, so.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And
There's
there's
a street behind the fence.
yeah, the
tennis
setback
court.
between that board and the
Pardon?
the
housing.
tennis court?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Martin.
Would be a tennis court.
Court.
Is it Martin
Yeah.
or Marlin?
I think so.
It's not the apartment complex?
Oh,
I don't,
No, I don't
I
think so.
can't tell.
Wait, what did she have?
Is that a,
Apartment complex or is that a personal residence?
Oh,
Like
that's a
part of it?
house.
Like, I didn't know if adjacent to it was apartments, maybe they had.
The house with the tennis court.
Who knew?
See the things we learn?
You must love tennis. But it's quite a distance to the speaker from here. That really would have to be blasting.
Yeah, they could have a speaker at their tennis court.
And now that's just downright creepy that I could just do what I did.
Zoom into your house. Hi, Bob. All right.
Any comments, concerns, thoughts, questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve project number 2432, the Arby's Arc signage, as presented in the McKenna report and subject to the items in the McKenna report.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barberina and supported by Commissioner Boyd to approve application 2432, subject to said conditions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have application 2385 and 2386. And we have some memos. Do you have anything to add, Flora, to this?
Well, if I could just give a little bit of background, all three of these projects are build to spec industrial office facilities in the Metro Business Park, which is on Concept Drive, directly north of Burroughs. The drive wraps around from Plymouth Road to Haggerty Road. And last winter and early spring, the applicant did receive tentative site plan approval for all of these, but there were still a number of outstanding items, including building facades and landscaping, that they had yet to address. And they haven't been able to resubmit for their final to come before the Planning Commission. And they've requested a one-year extension, which the Planning Commission may grant. The applicant is not here tonight, but they asked that their letter be incorporated as their rationale. There's 3 letters, they're all the same for each project. So if a one-year extension were granted for these 3 different projects, then the applicant would have until March and April of next year to submit their final site plan. If they did not submit within that time, then the application would be closed and they'd have to start, back at square one under a new application.
Can this all be done under one motion or 3 separate motions?
I think it could be done under one motion, as long as the project numbers are read, the PC numbers.
So what you're saying is there's only the possibility for one extension?
Yes.
Anyone have concerns?
So that would give them 2 years really to come back with final, because they've already had a year to come back with final.
They've had a year, yes, so they would have until 2023.
There's no negatives associated with this, is there?
Aside from paperwork and keeping files open, no.
No, okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
On application number 2385, 2386, 2387, that a one-year extension be granted as found in the planner's report.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Itzel and supported by Commissioner Postel to extend for 1 year applications 2385, 2386, and 2387. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we have our monthly report. Did you have any commentary on any of it, Laura?
I don't believe so. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have a question about a different item. There was a house that, I think it was on, off of Lily, maybe? It was a corner house, and they wanted to have a business within the house, so we had we changed some zoning.
On Sheldon?
Sheldon, is it Sheldon?
Yeah, it was on Sheldon, south of Ann Arbor Road.
Oh, that was the marketing firm
Right, the
that
marketing
also
firm.
Yeah.
wanted some flexibility to
Or,
do.
I'm sorry, sorry to interrupt, not Sheldon, it was on Main, right? Was it
on Sheldon.
or Main?
It was on Main.
Morton Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wondered if there was any, have they moved in? Is it a business now as well?
I'm not sure if they, I know they were in discussions with the building department a while ago about making interior renovations to the property to be more conducive for a business. But I don't know if they ever went through with that with COVID.
I think we might be talking about two different topics. The one I recall, what Bob said, it was on Sheldon. I think
On
you said that.
Sheldon or Main?
Yeah.
'Cause
It was
this
on
doesn't
Main.
It was
look
on
familiar.
Main because it was apartments. You know, we looked at it, you pulled it up on Google. There were apartments near
It's
it.
on
and-
Sheldon.
I don't think it's on Sheldon. There's a house that looks like it's a business on Sheldon and Joy.
But this was a residential home on a corner.
It was across from the Plymouth Professional Office
Right.
building.
Yeah.
Right, just down the street from there. I just wondered if there were any issues or problems or with neighbors or traffic or parking, not traffic really, but parking, and if it had moved forward, because it was kind of a test case, I think, for us too.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
It
I'm
was
not sure.
an
Right
anomaly
here.
there.
But I haven't heard any complaints.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember now.
Is that the one? That's not the one there.
no, it's further south,
There's a professional building at Judson.
because I think across the street was is it on Lily?
Wasn't there
I guess
some
I
issue
should've
with the
checked.
sidewalk?
It's on Lily, because I think
Lily,
across the
no
street is
wonder.
that really nice
Right, it is Lily.
office building.
We were all wrong.
not materialize either. No.
One is on hold and the other one was filled. Yeah, there are apartments in the back, or adjacent to it or something, and so maybe just south of that Plymouth Manor.
There.
You're there. No,
Isn't that in the city?
Lily.
Laura,
in
has there
there.
been any other update on the Plymouth Ridge development in the last few weeks?
Northridge.
The Northridge property, they haven't resubmitted to the township. As I understand, they're working with Wayne County.
it's that house just north, you're going the other way,
Other way?
Yeah, right there. That house right there on
right there.
Pasta, there, that
One here?
house.
Yeah, that was it.
I think
That was
you're
a house.
right.
Yeah.
Laura, I had a question about the town carpet and flooring building. It said that we would review a sign package today, but
Yes.
did they not turn another one, did they still not turn one in?
They did submit one, and they said that they were gonna get some changes to the department, and we didn't receive those. We got an email that said they would comply, but that wasn't what was requested. We needed to see some drawings, so
You can't
Yeah.
just say we'll comply.
that was pulled from the agenda.
Okay,
Okay.
I just had a question about that.
We'll see if they resubmit.
And that's the same business that has two unused pole signs out front, right?
Yes, those need to be taken down.
I'm curious if anyone went to the Phoenix Mill opening or the walk around.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
How was it?
Good.
it was good, it was interesting. It's come a long way.
They have a meeting space downstairs.
They have downstairs, it's a big open area,
An event space, yeah.
an event space. And then they have a small room, I don't know if you saw the small room where people come in that they help plan the event, you know, I guess going through menus or, you know, how they're gonna decorate it or whatever. And then there was another room that was still in pretty rough shape. He was still working on it. But somebody thought was interested. They thought it might be good for a yoga business.
What kind of business?
Yoga.
Oh,
And then, isn't there an architectural firm upstairs too?
Yeah.
That looked really sharp.
And they're actually, that firm is putting together the landscape plan because that hasn't done yet.
Right.
You know, what's happening.
There was a pretty extensive landscape plan for the rear of the building.
Yeah, where the parking lot is.
Right.
And he told us a lot about the challenges in putting the thing together.
Yeah, it was well attended. It really was. They had champagne and snacks and treats and yeah, it seemed well attended. I went at the later end of it and there was a lot of people there.
Unless you want to know about it.
Yeah. I'm glad there's a use for the building.
He has a website.
I saw that.
Okay, anything on commissioner comments too? We've sort of transitioned into that from the planner's report.
Mr. Chairman, just a clarification on our motion on number 2428 at Suburban Cadillac. Does our motion presume that both of the existing signs will be removed, or do we need to specify that in the motion?
Do the signs have to come down anyway when they
Pole
redid the
signs?
building?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check with the building department.
We need to put it in our motion that the pole signs come down? Or should we amend our motion?
I would leave it as is for right now, and then you can always make a motion at the next meeting if they come back, or if they don't come back, to address the other sign.
Okay. And that would address the pole signs that are there? Okay.
So we tabled that second sign, but we didn't put down, should we have said a time limit on that tabling?
Well, technically, whenever there's a table, the applicant has a year. I'm sure they don't want to take a full year. It's my understanding that, they've already made all the improvements to the interior and most of the exterior. They really want it to be complete, a complete site. So I would imagine they'll be here in June or May.
That raises another question that I just thought of. So there was some discussion about the cell tower that's, to the south of it, and that has that Cadillac logo on the face.
Yes.
And there was some discussion about refurbishing it or doing something. You know the status of that?
That one's a little bit complicated. It's a Verizon tower, and Henry Ford Health System is interested in purchasing that from Suburban. It's my understanding that Suburban doesn't want anything to do with it. But they've gone back and forth.
So Henry Ford would probably put some kind of logo on it?
Guessing.
Is Verizon the organization that's responsible for, maintaining it, the clock face on it? Would it still be a clock, do you know?
I don't. They haven't proposed any changes right now. I'm not sure what their maintenance agreement, their terms of the agreement look like for who's responsible for, making sure that the clock still works and cleaning of the surfaces.
Yeah, somebody sent an email to the Board of Trustees talking about the clock not being right.
That wouldn't come before us though, would it?
No, it's a private property. I mean, if the clock's wrong,
Yeah, but is it in the
Design.
art district?
It is in the art district. I did discuss this with Kurt, Supervisor Heisey, a couple weeks ago. We believe it would probably fall under the billboards, but, you know, the attorney may have to review this.
That strip mall or the plaza in front of the Henry Ford, is there optimized still? I see that, they're not started yet on the build out though.
Pardon?
I don't think they've started on that build out though.
Oh, the interior?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. They do want to open soon, though.
The Chipotle is open.
Yes, it is.
Is it open?
Yeah.
Good to know.
How late are they open?
I don't know if it's, people from Heights Park go there a lot.
Any other commissioner comments,
yeah,
questions?
we had quite the eventful Board of Trustees meeting last week. So there was probably, the issue was the Elks property, which may come back to the Planning Commission for the PUD. It hasn't been firmly scheduled yet as to whether the Board of Trustees will hear it. There was probably about 30, I'd say probably 30 to 40 people that showed up. Many of them spoke. They were, the latest proposal from the developer offered to a slight reduction in the number of housing units, some additional trees, but they structured a financing plan to pay for the paving of the dirt roads at no cost to the homeowners, in exchange for opening that up and allowing that traffic to go out to the north, out of the property. So, so there were people that spoke some that lived in that neighborhood directly, and some that lived in neighborhoods around there. There seemed to be, kind of a regular theme of opposition to it, although I was a little bit, I was trying to track who actually lived in the neighborhood of the dirt roads versus living in one of the other neighborhoods that spoke. And I think there were 4 that spoke that lived in the East Lawn, of which 3 of them seemed to say, that was a pretty good trade-off, because they were complaining or commenting that they're flooded frequently whenever it rains because of the elevation of the roadway now. Wayne County just continues to stack dirt on top of the roadways, and the elevation of the roadway is such that it doesn't drain, and it kind of floods their backyards. So that may come back here, as if the PUD is approved by the Board of Trustees, soon.
So the paving would include storm sewer?
Yeah, it would include sewers and curbs.
So I wasn't able to attend, but I watched the video, and I recommend it if you're able to watch it on YouTube.
You have 2.5 hours.
If you have 2.5 hours, yeah.
It was pretty long, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't 4 hours though, like
Oh,
ours was, wasn't it?
that's true.
On the
And it was, it was largely the same people that were speaking, and, and I appreciate what they're saying. Sometimes, I don't speak for my neighbors. I may be vocal, but I don't necessarily speak for my neighbors.
So was the reduction in units did they lose a building, or did they reduce the
No,
size of
just
the
a couple of
building?
units.
Just
What
reduce?
else? Tim was there. What else did you pick up at that meeting, Tim?
There was a lot of concern about people using what they call the spine road, which is the road that goes through the development, as a cut through to Ann Arbor Road or Ann Arbor Trail, depending on the trains and so forth and so on. One of the speakers was a civil engineer, and she suggested that they actually take traffic calming measures within the spine road, including the possibility of making it into a T intersection, as one way that would make it less convenient for people who want to use it as a cut through.
Yeah, I thought she was, I thought she was had some very insightful comments. Because there's sort of like people that are going to argue against it no matter what. There's sort of people that are willing to listen to potential trade-offs. One of the things that was I thought was a big step forward was the developer would pony up to, it's a structured financing program, but at least pony up to pay for the roads, which they weren't going to do before. So there's people that are always going to be against it, no matter what you argue, and there's some that are more willing to look for compromise solutions. And actually, that woman lives right where that spine road would connect to Firwood. Like her house is right there.
Her house actually looks out on the north end of the property to be
Yeah.
built.
So talk about somebody that had some,
Vested.
some credibility, and even she was saying, there's sort of a compromise here that maybe we can work out.
Why would it come back to this commission?
Because if the Board of Trustees approves the PUD, then it comes back here, then the next step is it comes back here for site plan.
Then and if we approve that site plan, then it goes back to the Board of Trustees.
So again, the advantage of the PUD is it gives the Planning Commission and the Board of Trustees a lot of control over how that site plan looks. Without a PUD, if it were just built according to the current zoning, which is industrial, they could build anything they want there as long as it was within an ordinance, and we don't have any control over it. So that's the advantage of the PUD.
Laura, I didn't see anything that suggested they actually were going to retain any more of the heritage trees than the prior proposal. Is that correct? Or did they make some changes in that as well?
Yeah, I think it was a very minor number from the January meeting. They did increase the berming and the setback distance on the north.
Anything else on that topic or any other?
When they talked about the roadway, did they talk about materials? Was it,
Would be built to Wayne County standards.
so that would be concrete?
Yeah, concrete.
Because Washtenaw County uses this shredded asphalt or
Yeah.
ground asphalt that comes in a lot less than regular asphalt, or
I think it's $1.8 million. That number sticks in my mind, yeah.
I think it is concrete. I thought it would probably be asphalt, because when we did the Margate, remember, they're using asphalt there, and that's to Wayne County standards.
Am I maybe assuming it's concrete and it wouldn't be? I don't know. That's a good question.
I believe it's concrete curb and gutter.
It's definitely curb and gutter and storm sewers.
do all those, do those houses have hooked up to the sewer back there on the dirt road?
So they have a,
They do have sewer, the storm,
Sanitary sewer,
they don't have, they just have the drainage ditches.
right?
what's it, is it Firwood?
Have you seen this ground up aggregate asphalt they're using in Washington?
It's the other Firwood. Yeah, yeah, the dirt one. So the spine road would come in right about here and would curve in this direction.
Oh, that's where you would, you talked about the T, that's where the T would be. Proposed T.
Yeah, would come in right around this direction here. So the other concern, I mean, now they're saying trucks come through there all the time, and, we could enforce, the no trucks, rule down the east side. You just put a cop out there and writes a few tickets and the word gets out. I mean, it's just like what happened on Ridge. Once a few tickets were written, then the truck stopped.
If you all have not driven through that subdivision, I recommend that you do. The homes are really well maintained. They're nice homes. It's a really nice little neighborhood.
These homes in here, Tim? Yeah, the value of these homes they're worth more than you would think, and you pave them, and that's pretty attractive.
No kidding. Yeah. I mean, it would really.
Because I think what most people don't realize, including me, is that this is less than a mile walk to downtown Plymouth.
That's what makes the location so desirable.
It is.
Right,
Yeah.
that subdivision too, if they pave
Right.
those roads, their
Yeah.
house, home values are gonna go up.
Whoops.
The idea is the objection is the traffic. Has anyone ever considered that maybe that spine road be a one-way road only exiting the proposed development?
I haven't heard any thoughts around that.
How would you get in? Go through?
You would only leave, you couldn't get in.
So people couldn't use it as a cut-through going the opposite way
Right,
from Ann Arbor Trail.
exactly.
Would that affect emergency vehicle traffic at all, or would that all come from Ann Arbor Road? You would think that it would.
Yeah, I think that would sort of defeat the purpose too of, I don't know, that's an interesting
Emergency
question
vehicles
when I
can
think
go
about it.
the wrong way on the
That's
right
true.
road.
I just had that happen today.
I don't know, it's an interesting question. So probably there's a lot of the opposition of people that live on Waverly here around this curve.
Timed out on your screen.
Pardon?
You're not
timed out on
you're
the
not on the
screen.
big screen, Bob.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure what happened here.
Well, one interest, it didn't have really anything to do with the Elks property, but an interesting point that came up at that meeting was Kurt telling everyone that, everyone knows where Riverside is, because some individual spoke about Riverside and the traffic. And the houses on Riverside, on both sides of Riverside, are in Plymouth Township, but the road is in the city of Plymouth.
Wasn't that weird? You ever heard that before? I have never heard
I've
that.
seen that little thing, on the map that he had spoke about, but
Yeah.
I never looked at it real close, and I often wonder, why is that little sliver up there?
Is Riverside off Ann Arbor Trail?
Yeah,
Yeah.
by
It goes-
near that church.
How lucky they
Right.
It goes through to Haggerty, right? It goes all the
Right,
way through to Haggerty,
right.
through past Heinz and then
You're right, it
Yeah.
goes down that,
down that big hill,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I think I need Jenks to look at this. I think my feet got tangled in the cables here.
anything else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner, is there a support?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Barberina and supported by Commissioner Itzel to adjourn the meeting at 8:05. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, adjourned.